That's how it is in my city. Every man for themselves, while every nigga getting shot until there's no nigga left. Cops shooting on your blocks, killing youngest for rep. Penalize none of these actions, but if he black, they gon' step. Man, ain't none of these niggas.
So have you seen all these policemen just hitting random people, like peaceful protests?
Yeah.
I've been on Twitter for like 3. I need to get off of Twitter, really, because
yes,
it is wild out there.
A lot of people, it's crazy.
I done seen goddamn like peaceful protests just getting manhandled. And I'm like, Lord, what is that even about? Like, these people just standing there and you macing them in the face. Or it was one video that really kind of got me mad. So it was like a group of white people getting pushed back, and it was a black dude. And, you know, everybody had their hands up, but you moved the little white couple out the way, but the black dude you mace and push on the ground, do all this extra shit. I'm like, you know, that's why people mad, right? Because you know what I mean? Like,
this extra force. Like, because I think that's also where I've been getting upset about this. Is I think there's two things going on right now. I think there are people that are protesting, and there's people that are looting and rioting.
Right.
And the police aren't taking an actual approach to understand that those aren't the same thing.
Right.
So, like, when you see people chilling, ain't hurting nobody, why are you hurting them?
Right.
Like, if you actively see somebody burning up a store, doing all that, you can get involved because that's your job.
Right.
But like little Miss Susie Q over here and LaQuisha, why are you attacking them?
No, not LaQuisha. Not LaQuisha.
Like, you got to do it for the folks. They got to understand.
Right. Understand.
We had to give them different type of names so they get them talking about white and black. So it doesn't make sense. Like, X person that's black or X person that's white doing peaceful protest is being hurt or scared to go do something that there is a First Amendment right of theirs to go protest. I could do that all day. Now, when it does become looting and all that's a different conversation. But I think that you're right. Like, it's been making me mad to see it on TV. But I think also there's one thing people aren't talking about, like, once you bring up Twitter, is people jumping stupid in police officers' faces.
Right.
I'm like, you're putting yourself in harm's way. And I don't advocate for that.
What about the police officers that feel like this is their Super Bowl? You know what I mean? Like, I've been waiting for something like this. You know what I mean? Like,
this is my moment.
How can they still be on the force? You know what I'm saying? To even, like, you see these actions coming out of people, and you know what I'm saying, in times like this. And these are the people that are causing more harm than, you know what I'm saying, helping out.
Yep.
Why hasn't their actions been questioned? You know what I mean? Like, no one been like, oh, so you one of them people that's the problem. So you need to go do some desk work or something if you really want to be a police officer. I ain't gonna send you outside. You know what I'm saying? You like, it's game day, baby. Let's go. I need to strap up. I need to, you know what I'm saying? Like, nah.
You gotta go. You're going back to basic. You're going back to the academy.
Right. Like, we need you to go to counseling and do all this extra, because everything that you got going on right now is not appropriate, sir. None of it is appropriate.
And that's something I've been thinking about too, is like, do any of these police stations or governors look back over this footage that the news is putting out or people are putting on Twitter and do some analysis over it and see, like, okay, that officer is there. Can we identify who that officer is? Right. And then have some conversations with them. I don't think that maybe the public needs to know straight up exactly which cops were talked to, but at the same time, I think something needs to come out as a public statement being like, we've reviewed the videos, and for all officers that were using excessive force or were antagonizing people that were doing peaceful protests, they are being handled according to manners, and these are the manners in which they are being handled, XYZ thing. So I feel like, I'm just thinking from like a policy standpoint, I don't think anybody's really trying to think about how, from a policy standpoint for these officers and whatnot, can you try to do something outside of just the protesting, and how do you use those videos for a different reason? So Candy just said, I'm confused.
I just saw that. She'd be all right. Like, I'll put her on game later. Another thing is so what I've watched a video with Killer Mike in Atlanta, and I liked everything he said, but how can you still say let's go back to the voting polls and to do all this? You know what I'm saying? Let's vote these people out of office. Let's vote these people out of office. It sounds like it's going to be the same thing regardless. Because what I feel like, what is it? What's the saying? Absolute power is corrupted absolutely. You know what I'm saying? So I feel like I said that right. But so you're going to take one person out of office to put another person in that office. Somewhere along the lines, the way my mind is and how my trust in people are is they going to get corrupted just like the person that was there before them. Oh, get your mind right now. What? That boy left. All right, we're gonna try to get Zay back in. But like I was saying, man, it's crazy to really sit here and be like, let's vote one slave master for a better slave master. You know what I'm saying? That's the craziest way I've ever heard it said. And that was Killer Mike that said that. So the only thing we doing is arguing about who got the best slave master, from Democratic, Republican, to Libertarian. All this shit to me is really crazy. I mean, yeah, I voted this, that, and the third, Obama, whoop-de-wop, blah, 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 all that, you know what I'm saying, for my reasons for voting for that young man. But the craziest things is that what is being done to make it safe to walk the streets again? You know what I'm saying? What is being done to have people to trust in police officers? Because the Black community has their whole thing with the police officers, the white community has theirs, and Hispanics has theirs. And everybody has their own relationships with police officers. And hold on, Zay coming back.
I got kicked smooth out the call.
I never stopped talking. I was like, oh, Zay gone, but I'm gonna just keep going.
You keep going. I was like, yeah. I can't hear nothing he said.
You are sideways.
I don't know what's happening. You see, Zoom don't want us to be great. Zoom really don't want me to be great.
There you go.
There we go. It don't want me to be great.
There it is.
Ooh. You said Killer Mike said voting these folks out of office.
Lost video? There he is.
Back.
Yeah, so I'm going to just repeat what I said. Killer Mike said, you vote these people out of office to put another person in office that says that they're for the people, by the people, and all this extra whoop, whoop, whoop. Once somebody's in power, how do we know they don't just get corrupted to be like the other person? Because isn't that what this whole, and also Killer Mike said years before this, you know what I'm saying? This whole political race is nothing but betting. It's, how did he say it? I just said it, and I'm already brain farting on it. We're voting to see who has the best master.
Okay.
You know what I'm saying? So we doing all that and saying all this, and these people come on TV, make all these promises, and you got Buddy on Twitter, you know what I'm saying, saying what he want to say and doing all this extra. So at the end of the day, everything that you said means what? You know what I'm saying? Oh, the economy's never been better. Okay, now at the end of the day, that does what though? You know what I'm saying? If I still can't, young man, what was that, 2 months ago? Young man can't even go running in this neighborhood.
Oh, Ahmad?
Yeah. So you got people that's still out there gonna be reckless and gonna be wild, and then now I can't even trust. I'm in uniform and I can't trust another uniformed, government employee. You know what I mean? So
I agree with that, but I think a lot of people get the conversation a little twisted. Right. We always, especially as Black people, we've been trained to think about national level politics.
Right.
If you get the president that we need, the president's going to take care of this. No, it ain't. He's not. That's not his role.
Right.
We have to do better to understand local politics a lot better, in our state politics. That's where the stuff changes. And I was talking to somebody from Smithfield this morning, and they're like, when we go to city council meetings, there's one or two people that look like us at these meetings.
Right.
How are you gonna, like, I'm not blaming us because there's nothing to blame, but we need people to show up at these meetings. We need people to be going to city council meetings, getting people on the city council boards that look like us, voting for the police sheriff, who is gonna be the right police sheriff. Like, all those local politics is how this keeps happening. Minneapolis is the city of Minneapolis doing that. It's not the state of Minnesota doing it. It's Minneapolis as a city.
Well,
and
was
I
it
think
the
that
mayor that came out and said that he wanted these guys? Was it the mayor, governor, something like that? He wanted
it was
these
the mayor.
guys tried for murder, or that one guy. But
that was their governor. That was the governor.
Yes, he wanted them
so
tried for murder.
And I'm like, the reason we get these folks there is because no one's changing local politics, so they don't work there.
Right. So
what were you gonna say?
My thing is so it's gonna ruffle feathers when I say something like this. Like, the police is a gang. It is. There's no way around it. There's no other way to say it. I'm in the military, so you see what it's like. Like, air department is air department. We're a gang. We pull up and go crazy. You know what I'm saying? We've been in ports where it was just like, nah, we don't really fuck with you if you're not air department. You know what I'm saying? Or we don't really fuck with engineers because they engineers. You know what I'm saying?
So I won't say gang. We'll use the term click. We'll say clicks. So we don't get censored.
I'm going to just say what it is, man. So it's crazy to say, we're, the blue squad, or we're the green squad, this, that, and the third. And then you got people in civilian life saying the same thing, but it's wrong for them to say it. Saying they believe in what they believe in. So if you want to say gang or clique or whatever it is, they believe that that's their family, right? Just like police officers say the same thing. We're all family. Yeah. We all wear the same uniform, this, that, and the third. So it's the same way with some of these other cats. To know that, everybody can consciously say, yeah, everybody's clicked up, this, that, and the third. There's no such thing. So how could you fault one man for saying, oh, I wear this blue flag and this is my family, to a one man saying, I wear this gold badge and this is my family? If a police officer if a gold badge kills my brother with a blue flag, I'm killing all gold badges. On the other side, if blue flag kills my brother in a gold badge, I'm killing all the blue flags. So it's gonna be
no, you're right. Because here's the thing: the United States is built out of territory.
Oh yeah.
Like, let's just take it back. Let's go back to a history lesson of how we got here. From the moment we've stepped, the United States, not just white people have stepped on the soil of the United States. It has been about colonizing and control.
Yeah.
And when somebody feels threatened, they have used force, they have used tactics and procedures to make the other people stay in their lane or be gone. So you're right when you say there's a gang mentality. It's like a family. Like at my job, we say, my division, that's a family. If you roll up on my family, we're going to hurt your feelings. And
it's the same way on a ship. When we about to go, we pulling into, say we pull into Thailand, say we pull into Bahrain. We have a brief that says, I'm not telling you can't mess with other people, but it's safer to just mess with your people. You know what I'm saying? And it was always said to us like that. We're not saying not to go out there and converse with other people in air department. But if they don't wear the same color jersey as me, you know what I'm saying? Yeah, we cool, but you're not my brother though. So I'm gonna just kick it with my people. You know what I'm saying?
We're taught to not trust.
Is it taught? It's literally, is it safe? You know what I'm saying?
I think it's both. I think that in some cases it was bred out of a safety thing. So my mom is in law enforcement.
Yeah.
And for example, when it comes to in the prison when she's doing warden work, she's like, boy, turn that light on, you fine. You gonna bother me. When it comes to dealing with different people in different units, when she was doing TDCJ parole in Texas, they didn't trust probation. they had many conversations where they was just kind of like, probation does it this way, we do it that way. We're gonna stay in our lane, they stay in their lane. It's not that we ain't got no ill will towards you, but at the same time, I trust in a very different way because we're used to what is normal to us. So I think that's why a lot of white people, when we talk about race and stuff, they get uncomfortable because it is taught to them, don't ruffle feathers.
Right.
Don't make people uncomfortable. Don't say nothing because the black people might think you're racist. like that's the thing.
That's real though. That's real.
Straight up, and I'm gonna just put it out there like this. I have two friends right now that me and one of my friends, name unnamed, we ain't chilling with right now because they felt some type of way about what's going on. And you're gonna white explain to me why it's happening instead of just trying to have a dialogue about it and getting out of your comfort zone to know what is the tea, what is the business. Like at the end of the day, a lot of people, it's safer to just stay in your lane. And because you stay in your lane, it makes you do some stupid stuff sometimes.
Right. And I've been seeing a lot of videos, social media, of like, you know, a bunch of white guys saying, I'm not even going to say I know what it's like. You know what I'm saying? I can appreciate that, but don't be afraid to have the conversation. You know what I'm saying? You know, you got black friends, this and the third. And that's why I'm not easily offended, to be honest with you. I'd rather sit there and just have a conversation with somebody. And they're like, you know, oh, why is it, you know, why can't I say the N-word? It's like, well, okay, let's have a conversation. You know, why do you want to say it? Well, because, you know, my friends say it, this, that, and the third. I hear it in songs. I hear this. You hear it everywhere. You know, 6ix9ine can say it. Why can't I?
Because y'all say it, I want to be able to say it. You said it for racist reasons originally.
And I actually got a couple of homeboys, you know, from work. You know what I'm saying? I'm like, I don't care how you say it. You know what I'm saying? It's context of how you say it.
Yes.
You know what I'm saying? Like if you're telling me a story and you know what I'm saying? Because I'm all about the funny at the end of the day. You telling me a story and it's the funny word to say right then, say it.
Yeah.
If you're just like, oh, you know what I'm saying? My boy B, that's my nigga right there. I'm going to laugh and be like, that's my white boy. I love him, bro. You know what I'm saying? But if you saying it to like, it is coming from a hurtful place or, you know what I'm saying? You can't say it with hard R's, hard consonants, shit like that. You know what I'm saying? Then we going to have a different discussion. You feel me? And that's going to go a different way.
And I agree. And I think like for me, it's like, I don't like it, like, you know how me and Kim are. I don't like really nobody saying the word.
Right.
But like if you're saying it to further a conversation or me and you are on that level where it's me and you are saying that to each other and it's a safe space, that's different because I gave you that permission and I'm still have the power in that conversation. But I think a lot of white people want to say it because it's trendy. It's something that makes them feel cool. It's nothing cool about being called a nigga.
Nah.
Like even when we say it to each other, it's never been built out of us trying to be funny or cool with it. It's a way for us to talk about it in a way that helps us deal with history that has inflicted us. And I think it's the same thing when we talk about police. People don't want to talk about why police officers truly were created. The first police squad were overseers. Like on the plantation, we created that position as people to keep people in line. And same thing with the Wild West, when there were the first sheriffs and stuff rolled up. It was to keep Indians and it was to keep cowboys in line.
Right.
So when we talk about like, oh my God, why are we saying like police are bad? Nobody is saying all police are bad. But understand the function of police and that sometimes what they've grown into and what they used to be sometimes get blurry.
Yeah.
And nobody wants to have a conversation about, okay, this thing happened at that time. It was history, but history has a funny way of repeating itself, especially in the United States.
It seems like it's happened a lot over and over. A lot of things have just been repeating itself and nobody wants to take a step back and learn from it. You know what I'm saying? And
like both sides to step back and have a conversation and figure out like if we are tired of seeing this, white people, you're tired of hearing us bitch about it, and black people, we're tired of going through it. We have to have a dialogue to move forward.
Yes. So to even move forward, to piggyback off of that, to have a dialogue to move forward, people are going to propose all types of things, right? So let's comb through the police department and give everybody a psyche eval, right? What is that going to do? You know what I'm saying? You gonna fill out a piece of paper that says, "Are you having these thoughts?" Because I have to fill them out every 3 months or something like that. Like, are you having suicidal thoughts? This and the third. You know, and we kind of look at the survey and just be like, everything's fine, everything's cool, blah 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 blah. Click click click. This and the third. So the numbers are gonna get skewed. So how can you say, you know, we're gonna give out psyche evals, you know, to all the new guys coming up? What about the old guys that's there already? What about the guys that's been there 15 years? That's, you know what I'm saying, they find a pleasure into, you know, messing up people's days. You know what I'm saying? What about the guys that's been there 3 years that's just gun-ho and they can't wait for some shit to jump off? What about those guys that, it's sad to say, they couldn't cut it in the military, so they went to go be a police officer. So now they're feeling like they fired their gun for justice. You know what I'm saying? What do we do with all these cats that have been there and now you're going to put in steps to try to make it harder to become a police officer?
And that's the thing. I don't think it should be harder to become a police officer. I think that it needs to be harder, but there needs to be an overarching look at how do you say someone is ready to go out in the streets. And here's the thing. If you're saying, like, everybody loves to throw around this word diversity, and it's one of my least favorite words on earth.
Why is that?
Diversity don't mean nothing if you don't have inclusivity.
Well, okay.
I can have 7 to 8 Black officers on with me, and you can use that as a justification. But like, I have Black buddies, my Black partners. We love them. But how many of those Black people are in power?
Right.
How many of those Black people actually are you not talking mess about when y'all are in the locker room? Like, without inclusivity in those conversations, it's a moot point to me. We've been having Black cops, we've been having Black CEOs, Black people in these places, but we haven't had Black people and people of color in general and people of different experiences being included in how they're treated. Like, one thing I've always liked about DC police is they have a unit that is the like LGBT and transgender unit. And they every month do briefings with their other partners to be like, yo, this is like my experience. And like, when I wasn't in uniform, how y'all used to scare me. Like, y'all used to roll up and like, because I'm a trans woman, you thought I was doing sex work and you were brutalizing me.
Oh Lord.
And folks are like, oh, wow, we did do that. Or wow, never thought about it that way.
Right.
Like, without actually letting those people have a voice in the conversation and have a space to not change everything, because it's not about always changing stuff, but having some honest conversations at work, nothing's going to change. Because a lot of these Black people that are in these positions are just trying to get through their day so they get to go home back to their family.
Right.
So they can have money. So they are hopefully get that next promotion. So they're not trying to ruffle any feathers. So it has to be some safety put into the conversation for some honesty to happen. And then also, you need to start including the community in the conversations. If I'm policing in DC, there's Northeast DC, Southeast DC, Northwest DC, and Southwest DC. If I'm in Southeast is Anacostia. It is AKA the hood. If I'm going as a white officer into that community, maybe I should get to know some people in that community.
Right.
Like, maybe I shouldn't just see some Black kids that are being loud and be like, oh, look at them little heathens. Let me go stop them and give them a citation.
And that's partially why I liked, what's the ballhead dude from Smithfield, that cop?
Oh,
Stewart, right?
Stewart. Yeah,
Stewart, because he took the time and learned people, not like personally, but he was like, I know that young man's name. I know that young man's name. I watched you at a football game. You know what I'm saying? Of course, Smithfield's a small town, but even if you got in trouble in Bastrop, you know what I'm saying? He could pull up and be like, I can vouch for this young man. You know what I'm saying? And he was kind of a cool guy. Yeah, you had those couple cats that had a problem, like, oh man, fuck buddy, this, that, and the third. That's because you got in trouble. But at the end of the day, the dude did his job and did his job right. You know what I'm saying? He didn't have no, at least that I know of. He don't have no dirty laundry aired out. You know what I'm saying?
And that's the thing. It's like the one thing I've always admired my mama about, especially because she's a woman in law enforcement, is Mama could tell you every person that works for her's backstory and every kid that is in her, like in the facility, their backstory. She does not demean them. She doesn't call them out of their name. She talks to them and gets to know them and tries to figure out, okay, you're having a bad day today. Something is going on and you could be sent to Rikers. What's really going on? Before we escalate this and somebody puts their hands on you, or I have to put an officer on leave because they put their hands on you, what's really going on? And I don't think enough law enforcement agencies take that time, because you're right. I think there's a very militaristic understanding of law enforcement that needs to go away in some cases. Like, it's cool to think that, like, yeah, there are certain things that we need to have, but when you're going to, say, someone's house to do a psych eval on them or a wellness check, why do you have military grade weapons? Why do you have weapons that could kill somebody on site? Why are you taught to shoot someone in the head instead of just disabling points? That is the problem. So if I'm going to help a person that I've never helped someone that has a mental health issue, why am I going to be so scared of them and be on my guard? So if they do anything that I'm not used to, I hurt them. Like, that's where a lot of these cops get it wrong. We do not work for you as people in the community. You work for us. So you need to get to know us and understand our needs. And yes, there are those bad people in every group. There's bad white people, bad Black people, bad Latino people, bad gay people, all bad people in general. But you can't just be like, oh, that one person stole from that store from KP. That means all these hooligans walking around after school, they're going to steal from KP too.
Right.
That's how we keep having these problems. And that's why they always jump stupid. Like with Ahmaud, it made me so mad. When he got killed, the first thing you want to talk about is that he had stole something or had like a little misdemeanor like
2 years ago. 2 years ago, yeah.
And I'm like, well, who cares? That's not the conversation.
But they did that. They did the same thing with Trayvon. They did the same thing with Sandra. They did the same thing with what's the other cat?
Michael.
Mm-hmm. Every time something happens, they go straight for your character. Oh well, yeah. Trayvon, he was a little thug, you know. On CNN, only pictures you saw of Trayvon after the fact, after they lost, was these pictures, like fuck the police, you know what I'm saying, this, that, and the third, sagging his pants. They tried to do the same thing with with George.
Yep.
His family came right up and was like, you can't. There's nothing out there.
Yeah.
You know what I'm saying? Stop.
So and it's funny, like when it comes to white supremacists and like domestic terrorists in this country, Dylan Roof, he walked out and shot up a whole church of Black people. Y'all took him to McDonald's.
Burger King, but yeah.
Well, Burger King, you're right. Y'all took him to Burger King, but then also you were talking about y'all went to his friends, family, all kind of folks, and they're like, oh my God, he was such a good kid. Like
the fact that young man could walk out of the building wearing a bulletproof vest. That was the biggest thing to me. Is that you knew to put a vest on this young man. You knew to have him surrounded by officers. How could he still walk away?
Yep.
You killing people in the street for what? Buddy selling CDs. A young, or this wasn't a police officer, but a young man on a job. You know what I'm saying? Sandra, just, you know, she got held in a holding tank. Next morning, she's dead. Nobody still knows, you know, what happened. But you keep having these, on the other hand, you keep having these other cases of white guys or you know what I'm saying, whoever else that just walk away. You know, they get a trial date. Everybody else, that's my biggest thing. Everybody's getting these trial dates. I don't respect trial. I don't. I'm sorry. Because you telling me I can pay somebody $30,000, you know what I'm saying, a lawyer, to go in there and to tell them I'm innocent, to prove to them or to plead my case and argue that I'm innocent.
Yep.
You know what I'm saying? And between me, God, and the other people around that was there, they knew I did it. But at the end of the day, this guy right here standing in front of you, Your Honor, that is blood and flesh just like me, Your Honor, he's telling you that I didn't do it. Or he's telling these 13 to 14 people that I didn't do it. And they believed it. So now I get to walk off knowing what I did, living with what I did. Some people can live with that.
George Zimmerman can live with it. He's fine.
He's fine. He's great. You know what I'm saying? He's been doing what, he wrote a book or something. He's been doing podcasts. He's, you know what I'm saying? But
sold the gun that he did it with.
Sold the gun he did it with. And then
made money.
But nobody goes to talk about, Trayvon Martin's family, you know what I'm saying, still out there struggling, doing whatever they need to do. You know what I'm saying? Ain't nobody going to go donate to the GoFundMe to that family. You know what I'm saying?
Yeah.
Nobody's talking about Sandra Bland's family and Michael's family. And we still talking about George's family, but people are out there riding in the streets, doing this, doing that. But who's actually taking the time out to be like, let's sit down and let's talk and let's see what this family wants to do. Let's bury this man in peace. You know what I'm saying? And then go from there. But these police officers, they get a trial.
Yep.
You know what I'm saying? Now, what could come out of this trial? Some of these cats could walk away.
Many of them have. Like what we were just talking about earlier before we had the technical difficulties. The amount of times I have sat in y'all's living room and y'all know me. I have hope. I'm like, it's going to be okay. They're going to go to jail. And then they don't go to jail and I'm crying. And y'all are like, Zay, like we knew this. But like I still, even at this age of 26, still have all this hope in my heart, knowing that Trayvon was the same age as me, would be 26 years old on this earth, that I'm like, we will get justice. Like the amount of times, like I think the thing people don't understand is like it's not about the George and the Breonna and everybody. It's about all those other little cases that go on that lead to more and more things. Like
nobody's talking about the cases that didn't make it to recording. Nobody's talking about those cases.
And like a lot of white people are like, well, like we're trying to be advocates and want to be a part of this. We want that. But like, I don't want nobody that's being just a some-timey advocate in our life.
Right.
Because like, I've had, like when I was at UT, I haven't ever even told you and him this. After Jordan Edwards, the dude that killed him, didn't go to jail, we were going to Kirby Lane on the drag. And I was walking with my friend Taryn, and I'm like crying. And an officer turned his car and like turned in front of us to like scare me. And Taryn got in front of me as a white person and was like, if you're going to shoot someone, you're going to shoot me. And it's like, I want you to show up and me know that you will try to protect me for my life, not just for you to feel good about the situation.
Right.
And I think that's where a lot of people are getting this mixed up. This isn't about little bitty one-off cases. This is about a history of state-sanctioned violence. This is also not even just about police. Like, I think that's where the conversation needs to go further. Like, we're not just talking about police stations. We're talking about the ability for police officers to administer state-sanctioned violence. And when people don't know what that means, it means that the state or an institution is allowed to inflict violence on anybody that they deem abject and or dangerous.
Right.
So a lot of people don't get that. And it's like, it's not just about, and that's why I get so mad when people throw up, well, it's not all police officers. We get that. We get it. What we're saying is there are abilities and safeguards in place to make sure that when these officers do something or they do mess up, they have unions, they have other things that protect them, that down the line, they probably are just gonna get a slap on the wrist and walk away. And when other groups are out here doing a mess, and that's why I'm like, people need to stop saying that these riots are just Black people right now. It is white people, Black people, disabled people, women, men, children, all kind of people are out there right now, peacefully protesting and looting and rioting. So don't conflate that as just Black people, because that's where these narratives on the news keep happening, being like, Black people are just so angry. Yes, we're angry, but also other people are angry with us.
Exactly.
And like, it's not just, we need to take a United States perspective. And like me and you as public servants, like a perspective of understanding, like when we go to work, when I put on a suit and you put on your uniform, you make a duty that day to say, I'm gonna go to work. I'm going to be a steward of this government, and I'm going to protect and serve the people that are in the community that I am here to do. And then also my other job is to make it back home. And I understand that. I get where some officers come off and they're like, well, I'm trying to make it home. But when you're escalating a situation, you're not getting home easier. You're making it worse for you and that other person.
Your percentage is going down every time you holler. Like, I understand they take these classes, you know, to keep situations calm. You know what I'm saying? I understand all that. But if your first instinct is to draw your horn, you know what I'm saying? Why? Like, what did the class do? I say you I say you go a whole week, no gun.
Yep.
You feel me?
Right.
I understand that's not safe. It sounds ridiculous. But what is it? London. The police officers don't have guns there or something like that?
They don't. London and in Spain.
You know what I'm saying? But, you know, they got Big Brother, though, so it's different, which is understandable.
Yeah, they watching them. They ready.
Yeah. So, which is understandable. You know what I'm saying? I understand that aspect. So we don't need guns. You know, we got cameras everywhere. You know what I'm saying? Which is understandable. I'm not saying do that here. But if you have societies out there that can move around in the streets, you know what I'm saying, without gun and you know, you still gonna have gun violence because you can't stop people from getting guns. I don't care who or what you are. You could comb this earth right now with metal detectors through everybody's house. You gonna find some guns.
Yeah.
Oh, okay.
And like, you're right. And I think like one thing I just keep thinking about also is like what you said earlier just stuck with me about like, it's like a family and a clique and a gang. Like they even attack their own people. And that's where a lot of people don't realize. Think about the amount of officers that have been killed by other officers.
Facts.
The amount, and like my mom is a prime example. When she was attacked at work, was a year and a half ago, two police officers on duty and 3 male inmates ganged up on my mama and beat her into an inch of her life.
Damn.
Mama still has a gash across her head to this day that she calls a $2 million scar. My mom, yeah, she is so scared. Still has PTSD. Mama goes to therapy every week. You are the warden. Now she's an executive director. But at that time, you were one of the wardens. And you're afraid to go into a facility that you control.
Yeah.
And like, people think this is just about, like, I'm not even just talking about how they treat Black community. I'm talking about how do you structurally just treat people?
Yeah.
Like, there's so many people that do it correctly. And I love how people are like, well, you know, just do it respectfully. I do it respectfully every day. I'm working on my 3rd degree, and I'm still scared at times going outside and people are going to be like, oh, he's one of them.
Right.
The mask I had on coming over here has has this on it. And I have a shirt on that says Black educated thinker. And I'm like, and I wore it for this, but at the same time, I was over here worried coming into a neighborhood that's predominantly Black, that if I didn't come into my friend's apartment quick enough, an officer could be like, oh, what are you doing? Also, my tripod is hanging out of my bag. You could think that's a weapon.
Right.
And I'm like, from afar, you could think those things. So my brain is on edge already. They don't care how old you are. They don't care how educated you are. It's not even about all that. So these respectability politics and people being like, you need to act respectable in these things. Yes, try to do it to the best of your ability. And like for some people, that's my way of advocating. But for these people out here who are protesting, that's their way of doing it. Right. The looters, I don't agree with it, but like that's their way of doing it. Right. I'm not saying it's right, but you can't tell somebody who's tired and is fed up that they're doing it wrong. I would like them, like we were saying earlier before we had our technical difficulties, I would like people to think about the aftermath of this. Like, what is it going to lead to? Like, when you need food, when you need to get your car fixed, when you're just walking while black, while just living while black.
Yeah.
How many officers now that they're scared of you more now? What could happen?
So when is the come down? You know what I'm saying? Like how long can people ride this? You know what I mean? Like, is it gonna
I
keep
see
happening?
2 to 3 more days. I think it will keep happening. But it has always happened. Like,
Yeah.
think about when Freddie Gray got murdered, and he didn't get justice in Baltimore.
Yeah.
Baltimore was burning for a month.
The truth.
And it happens all the time. And I think me and my friend Jesus, at his house, we were talking about this. Like, I'm tired. Like, I have been since undergrad screaming and protesting, radical, if you will, like bold about blackness and bold about human rights. But I've screamed so much, gone to the city council meetings, I've gone to the protests, I've gone to be on the NAACP, on the Urban League. I've done all these things, but nothing has changed. And like, people have gone out here burning up cities. They burned up Ferguson. Nothing has changed. So it makes me feel like we're at a loss here. Like, what really is going to change from the looting? But for them to think another way about us, like we're ignorant and stupid and not ever doing anything, or even if we're protesting, it ain't going nowhere. Right. And if we're trying to do it in policy, a conservative party blocks it, or our own Democratic Party and Liberal Party blocks it. I'm like, so what? For me, is like, I need there to be a conversation about actual tangible steps of how we move forward.
Right.
Like, we can't just keep being mad because it ain't helping us.
Right. I say keep your anger, because that's your motivation. But all these conversations, you know what I'm saying? And it's bad to say it with the generation we have now, the up and coming generation, you know, the 19, 18-year-olds, you know what I'm saying? I'm be 29 this year, you know what I'm saying?
Yeah,
so
that's crazy.
You know, right, feel me? You know what I'm saying? And so goddamn, I don't think the conversation is gonna stick. You know what I'm saying? Like, we can have this conversation, you know, and this is the longest I've ever seen a social media push about anything. You know, it normally has this about a week, 2 weeks, maybe. It starts to slowly die out. Just like nobody's talking about COVID now. You know what I'm saying?
Yeah.
So,
which I'm also like, y'all looted and got masks on. Oh Lord.
But now that people saying, oh, so what about, you know, all these people coming together and protesting around the world, but nobody's saying that the COVID cases are going up. Nobody's saying, you know what I mean? So now you have to question, like, oh, well, what is really going on? Are we getting fed just a bunch of bullshit just to have something go on, or you know what I'm saying?
Makes me start wondering, I'm like, is Trump telling us the truth that COVID ain't real?
I don't know about none of this. I'm just saying, like, what, you know, sometimes I just sit back, like I sit in here, or I sit in the bed and I just look at Facebook, I look at Twitter, and I'm just like, what the hell is going on? You know what I'm saying? I'm not 40, 50 years old, you know what I'm saying? I don't know what to do sometimes. You know what I'm saying? It's like, only thing I could
you're
do.
Not wrong.
Yeah, true. Right. You're right. But only thing I could do is, you know, when my kids get of age, is say, if you're gonna be outside, be careful. You know what I'm saying? I could give them all the tools, you know what I'm saying, or try to give them all the tools, because you never know what could be the ticking point for some of these people. You know what I'm saying? So
I agree with that, but I think also one thing that I really want us as Black people to stop doing is teaching our kids to fear.
No,
because
never that.
Somebody,
you know me, you know me. I'm gonna speak my.
No, but like, at the same time, like, I've had to talk to my mom about this. Like, I feel like, and you do, I know Mama does this to you too. We get to talk every day.
Every day.
Be careful. Don't be out with nobody that you ain't supposed to be out with.
Right.
If somebody pulls you over, don't get smart. We've been taught to talk so long that, like, we're ingrained to think that someone's gonna hurt us.
Right.
And my thing is, like, no matter how many good cops are out there or how many good people are out there, if somebody wants to hurt you, they're going to hurt you.
Yeah. You don't know how their day been going.
And I think that is a big part. And I think that's one of my big things about this right now. It's like, we're saying, yeah, I get it. Like, it isn't all cops, and like, yes, structural stuff needs to be fixed. But if somebody wants to hurt you, even if we fix the system, they're gonna hurt you.
Yeah.
And I think for me, it's like I get so like I'm out all the time with like friends at night and stuff, but I always like to ride home in an Uber with somebody else because in DC, there's been Black people that come up missing from Uber. There's Black people that come up missing, or an officer assumes they've done something they weren't supposed to do, and they're walking to their Uber and they get pulled over right before they get in. And they're getting in trouble. Like, my thing is, like, I like the safety in numbers, but I think also, like I told one of my white friends today, we have to start educate, like, not just us, but like white people, all people need to start educating their people about stuff that don't pertain to them.
Right.
Like, I think when we grew up, our families made sure we knew Black history, but I wish I actually would have learned a lot more about Asian history, Latin American history. So I would have understood that, cool, you went through some struggles too. I should be in solidarity with you, or learn about poor white people, rural white people, and understand that a lot of them feel some type of way about stuff because they are also not supported by big cities.
But we got to think about it like this too. Being in Texas, we get held behind by history. You know what I'm saying? Because our history book is Texas history. We don't have United States history. We have a Texas history book. That's it.
They said you're going to learn Texas history, and that's what you're going to like.
You go every morning, you do the Texas Pledge, and then you do the goddamn national anthem or whatever, but you're going to do this Texas history first. Hell, you talking about?
And it just gets me, and I'm just like, it's wild. So, like, I think for me, the main thing how I'm feeling right now and everything is just, I'm tired. I think I've told people I love them more than I've ever have. Of not just Black people, but all people.
Yeah.
I think one thing that I'm very nervous about this is that it's gonna get flipped on the Black community with all the looting, and they're gonna think that all of us are just angry and that we are dangerous when that isn't the case. That a lot of us are just tired. And like, I got off Facebook because I'm tired of seeing Black people die on my timelines, and I asked you nicely several times to stop reposting it. So apparently you don't care. Then also, Black people telling other Black people how to advocate. You don't get to tell me how I'm allowed to mourn and hurt. If I don't want to post nothing, I don't gotta post nothing.
Right.
And it's like everybody's trying to play like the ally and oppression Olympics right now, and being like, well, I'm doing advocacy right, and I'm doing the conversation right. Nobody's doing it right. We're building a plane as we go.
Yep. Yes.
This ain't ever. If we knew the answers, we would not be where we are right now. Like, I think that is where a lot of people need to take a step back and reflect and think like, yo, we don't know the end point of this. We don't know where this is going to go. We don't know all the answers. And we need to be trying to learn together, and also not push people away. If a white person or Latino person wants to help, let them help. Don't let them take over, but let them help.
Yeah.
And actually have some conversations that are not just about how we hurt, but also how we have joy. I think a lot of times in this, we forget that part of it. That's a radical act to me.
I feel like the biggest radical act people can do is, be more inclusive, you know what I'm saying? Because nobody's talking about Hispanic people, you know what I'm saying? And how the same things happens to them. You know what I'm saying? Or how the biggest community nobody talks about that just gets the most shit is Asian people. Nobody saying nothing about, you see on World Star, Asian dude just gets jumped by a group of Black people because they say COVID came from over there. You know what I'm saying? So they get the most shit from everybody, and nobody's saying nothing about it. You know what I mean? Nobody's taking the time like, hey, bro, sit down with us and tell us your side. You see what's happening on our side. Or my Hispanic brother, you know what I'm saying? I understand what happened with the cages and how they separated kids from families, this, that, and the third. Let's talk about your experiences and how your people, you know what I'm saying, feel like how can they overcome? And then we take our own people and say, look, this, that, and the third, this is going on. Whoop, whoop, what we need to do. I don't know if there's going to be a good turning point from all this. You know what I'm saying? Because I feel like it's honestly going to have its wild force. It's going to be worse.
Yeah.
But when is it going to turn into, all right, let's put all these guns down. Let's try to get some of these, on both sides. Let's try to get some of these radical people in order. Because it only takes 1 to 3 people to just start smashing windows. Because they got that confidence to do that. It's like the video that really just made me mad was the Whataburger video. The dude smashed the window in, and it was a little Hispanic cat.
Yep.
Nobody stopped him. I understand this is the footage era. Everybody's like this. Everybody, you know what I'm saying? Everybody just like, oh, they out here going crazy.
Yeah.
I have the biggest problem with people getting mad at me about social media. Like, oh, you say you at this place, but you don't take pictures. I'm too far in the moment for me to be
I'm trying to have the experience.
Pictures. Exactly. So why can't people just be like, oh, nah, bro, chill. You know what I'm saying? Put the cameras down, chill out, because both sides of this camera is not looking good. Everything that I'm showing, I see it as, oh, we out here making moves for justice, this and the third. But people on the other side of that camera is like, no, y'all just look goofy out here. And that's one reason why I'm not in the streets right now. Like, they shut down the highway yesterday. I said, damn, I was finna go pick up some food. I hope that's not on the way. So I'm like,
it's real. Like, you're 100% right. Like, it shouldn't be like, it shouldn't come out that everybody is getting Twitter fingers and getting video camera happy. Like, they don't realize they're reproducing this for people. Instead of, like, if you're going to record it, send it to the news or send it to somebody that can fix it.
Yeah.
Like, why are you like, yes, we need it.
But that's a dangerous game too, though, because they're going to grab what they want. You know what I'm saying?
True. And that's what I'm saying. Yeah, we needed to have it in like spaces so you are telling what's going on, but don't spew what's going on.
Yeah.
Because I think a lot of people, when they're recording, how do I want to say this? Some niggas is ignorant, and they want to hype up a situation,
right?
And they're like world star when it ain't a world star moment,
right?
Instead of being like, cool, y'all, this thing is happening. Let me let you know what is actually happening. Let me calm my emotions down real quick and let you know that man just smashed the window for what reason, or that person just smashed the window and they're not with us.
Right.
This would clear up a lot of stuff right now of who is actually smashing stuff and who is a part of the group and who isn't.
Right.
But now all of it's all jumbled and everybody's like, oh my God, they're all destroying all the United States property. Shoot them if they're looting.
What they gonna do with these? How far are you from the White House? Don't they have a whole group of people that's trying to get in there?
Like I told my grandma, roll up on the White House. Everyone of you will be shot. You will be shot on not sight. You will be shot on breath.
Hell no. At the end of the day, it's still just a building, though. That's my thing.
It's no, it ain't.
Look, Zay.
That's a very important building that has some stuff in it that folks don't need to be messing with.
Understand that part. But if they get into the lobby and start tearing up posters, this, that, and
you will be. They're not gonna get that far, Brandon. That's my point.
I'm just saying, these folks is out here going crazy. How long before
United States Secret Service is red teeth?
Understandable. How long before they have a fatality out there? You know,
I think tomorrow will be the first day. Will be the first fatality because I think people are getting. Now that it's gone on so long, I think people are getting a little, like you said, their chests are getting big. And instead of saying like, okay, we're getting somewhere with this, they're thinking, cool, they're not listening to us, we gotta do more. And I think in DC, because they did the curfew at 11 starting tomorrow, somebody's gonna mess up with that curfew and it's gonna get bold with an officer. And
do you feel the curfew is the right thing?
I think that the curfew is a safe thing.
Safe for who? Because now you telling me, you know, I can't protest in the streets. So now I'm talking as the protester now.
Mm-hmm.
You're telling me that you know, even if I'm having a peaceful protest, you're going to make me go home.
Mm-hmm.
So there's only one way to make me go home. If I'm out here
by force.
Exactly. So why is this okay? Now you're going to walk the streets with bigger riot shields, walk the streets with gas, beanbag pellets,
but I think
shots.
we also have to remember who put in place the go home. It's not the police.
I understand.
It was Muriel Bowser, who's a Black woman,
mm-hmm.
who is the mayor of DC, and said, "I want y'all to go home." Like, and I think it's a fine line she's playing, because I think from her perspective, she's like, I don't want to see people in my community get shot.
Right.
But
has she put
also
out?
Need you to go home.
Has she done, a Facebook Live, or has she done a news event?
She Facebook Lives every single day.
So she said that this is not about, not letting you protest. This is about safety.
So I don't live in DC. I live in Virginia. So I don't know directly what she said. But from having worked with Mariel, Miss Bowser, I'll be respectful. She's pragmatic, and she isn't. I don't think would just do something to like take somebody's voice away. I think she's more worried about how much damage is this gonna inflict, and then our city is already not open.
Mm-hmm.
And people aren't making money, and say you do destroy a shop and you do destroy like these Black owned businesses,
mm-hmm.
which DC mainly is in a lot of
mm-hmm.
ways, how are they going to rebuild?
Yeah.
And that's where I was getting at earlier. No one's thinking about that long term. They're thinking about only short term right now.
Yeah. Me and Mama Bear was having that conversation the other day when all this shit kind of started, or when all the, COVID shit started. Let's start there. It was say this is your year, January, you like, I'm gonna start my business. I'm up. You know what I'm saying?
Mm-hmm.
I'm opening my doors January 15th, coming right into 2020. You know what I'm saying? And then come what, March is when they like, everybody out here sick, everybody out here dying, this, that, and the third. Stay home. So now your first month of business, you're already in the red. I mean, your first month of business, you're already in the red. So now you start to try to build clientele, and then you get told, if you don't have a web shop, if you don't have curbside pickup, you can't do nothing. Yep. Now you got people in the street tearing up buildings, burning down buildings. Say that was your shop. Say that was your building. Where do you go? This is what you sunk all your bread into. Not everybody has $1 million to do a startup.
Sure don't.
Not everybody has, you know what I'm saying? Everything I've done put into this office was all my money. You know what I'm saying? All me and baby girl, me and wife's money. So what I'm trying to build to what another person's trying to build is totally different. So they actually have a physical building that burnt down. They actually have a physical building that got looted. All these people have all this stuff from this person. And so when this person comes out and says, my building was affected by the riots in 2020, this is my GoFundMe, how many people are going to go and donate?
No, not a lot. I think a lot of people are going to throw it back in their face. Well, you have renter's insurance. You have blah, blah, blah.
That only covers so much. That don't cover all assets.
And also, it doesn't cover riots.
See? That's like man-made right there.
That's a man-made thing. So you're telling me like, oh, suck it up. And I think that's where I'm a little upset about this, is because I'm like, I'm thinking about those old people that got to go to the store and might be hurt, or that business owner that just started their brand new business, and you burn it down, and you're just like, well, you're like Target. I'm not Target. Yeah. I will never get to Target's bottom line most likely in my lifetime, but this could be me and my family's, the way we were trying to build generational wealth for me and mine.
Right.
Or you have that kid that goes out there and is protesting and thinks they know why they're protesting, and they get shot. And they don't get to go home. And you have another mom that is having to deal with this over and over again. Are you going to help her? Or are you just going to be like, well, that was just a casualty. We were doing what we had to do. They knew the risks. Like, that's where I think people need to think about this more long-term rather than emotional short-term. because I know you're tired. I'm tired. But also, I'm trying to think about this in a way that my mama might see me again one day after COVID.
Right.
Trying to think about, well, if I was trying to open up a business, what would I do? Also, where am I going to go get food? Because at the end of the day, if DC and Virginia and all of them are like, oh, well, these people were looting, no Black people could come in the store, we're going to feel some type of way.
Right. So say, history repeats itself. All these companies and whoop-de-wop is like, nah, segregation back in effect. What's up?
We're going to be hurt. Well, I mean, it goes against the Civil Rights Act of 1964, but but I mean, it's hypothetically, we would be mad.
And now we back to square one, right? So tearing up these people, and that's another reason why I'm not out there. People can say, "Oh, you can't say this. You ain't even go outside. You ain't even go downtown." You know what I'm saying? We was in there. You know what I'm saying? We was outside. I don't know when the turning point is, and I got two little ones and a wife that depend on me.
Yeah.
I don't know. I could be out there downtown. Everything could be peaceful. All it takes is 1 to 3 people to start some nonsense, and I catch a stray. I catch a stray. That's selfish to think about. It happened for the movement, this, that, and the third. But who's gonna take care of them? Because I was out there protesting. I don't think the government is gonna say, "Oh, you can get that $400K to bury him." I wouldn't. That's not the line of duty I'm trying to die in. You feel me?
I agree, and that's how I feel about it. I'm like, my mama's only child. I help my family with bills. I help people with stuff. If I die going out here to do the work, are y'all gonna do? Is my community gonna help them?
Facts, and they're gonna be like, I don't even know who Buddy was, bro. That's just another Black man in the street.
Thank you. Or I'm gonna be one of the several names that never get talked about.
Oh, yo, you're gonna make the scrolling board. That's it. That's all you're gonna be. Or you're gonna be. Your name is Stone. Yeah, like that dude was. You just gonna be in a park somewhere. That's the only thing that's gonna be left is. Your uncle, your cousin Zay or your uncle Zay. Yeah. This is his name right here on this piece of stone, and this is all we have to remember him by. You could have met him. He died at an early age, though. You know what I'm saying?
And I think that's the last thing I'll say because I gotta eat. Is I watched Michelle Obama's Becoming on Netflix.
Right.
And she said something I think a lot of Black people and a lot of people that are angry right now need to take a step back and talk through, but not just themselves, but other people, is their stories. And I think, as you said earlier, like, we don't know white, like Latino people struggle. We don't know Asian people struggle. In a lot of cases, even in the Black community, we don't get each other's struggles. Like, Black people that grow up in the South are radically different than Black people that grow up in the North.
Fact.
And Black people that grow up in small cities are different than people that grow up in Smithville and Austin. Like, they're different. But we don't take time to really hone into those stories and what we want our life to be. I think everybody's like about the community, but what do you want the community to look like? And what is the story of how you fit into that? It might not be my story to be the person out there rioting or protesting, but it could be my story to be the person that pins the first piece of legislation that stops police brutality. And I think we need to understand that there's not a right way to advocate in the Black body, but you also have to make some smart decisions, because if a bullet, like you said, was stray up on the block and we're going to take Brandon or Xavier out, who are you leaving behind, and who are you also leaving economically disadvantaged? So there's so much more that goes into that conversation that I think a lot of people don't take the time to understand or even care about. So.
Well, you go eat your food. Zay, we might have started a podcast.
I'm down. You want to start a podcast? I'm real down. I'm not being funny.
I'm with it. Shit, we been here, an hour already? And it flew by.
Yeah. Like, I want to do it. Let's do it.
A politician and what we gonna call it? I don't know.
Public servant.
Oh, look at you now. Might have some. Get some shirts.
I'm telling you, we have merch. because that's all it is. Bring up the conversations that we feel some type of way about, and then just talk.
I would love to do this again. Have some more people to actually, like, you know, actually have a different style of conversation. Like maybe if you know a Hispanic cat that would love to do it, or an Asian dude, I'm with it.
I'm down. Like this could, me and you could do it, and then we invite people.
I'm with it. Go eat. We're gonna do this again.
Okay. Amen. Don't God do it.
But if we all band together, we can make these bands last. We was banned from the system, ain't no fucking legislation. Ain't no make America greater, this is still abomination. I waited, patient, civil rights was aging. Brothers having white mothers carrying black babies. Pistols with no safety, cause there ain't no gun safety. They'd rather stop and frisk than stop the rifle. So